Oh my goodness. Honestly, I honestly cannot believe I'm actually gonna make this video, but in many ways, I have to do this. I know the fact that as much as I really don't want to do this, you know, it has to happen. Because, honestly, what the actual fuck did I just witness? It feels like I'm just waking up from an absolute nightmare. But, either way, guys, if you guys haven't heard it, the United States have officially missed the World Cup in 2018. They will not be going to Russia. And, honestly, I do not know what to say. I mean, obviously, everybody's gonna be very pissed off after this match, and obviously everybody's gonna be very pissed off of just the overall qualifying stage. And I know that there are also some people think that, you know, it feels like this is an absolute heartbreak, but in my view, this was not really a heartbreak. I knew for a fact that when I see this qualifying as how of a roller coaster ride this was doing this qualifying stage, I knew something potentially could go very, very wrong. Now, despite that, I didn't think that something that can go very, very wrong could actually turn out to be missing the World Cup. I mean, are you fucking serious? And honestly, this match against Trinidad Tobago, what the actual fuck was this performance? I mean, Bruce Arena, you need to fucking get off this team. And actually, you know what? Do me a favor, Arena. Stay at Trinidad Tobago. And that goes the same with you, Suni Genenten, or whatever the fuck your last name is. Because you can both stay at Trinidad Tobago and never, ever, ever come back to this country. I'm fucking sick of this team, and I'm fucking sick of the fact that we played tonight. Like, where the fuck was the urgency? The player tonight, from the first whistle, they look like tired as fuck. Why are we being tired, right? We only have just... Our last match was on a Friday, and yes, okay, we had a free day rest, and okay, some people say, well, we were playing in a shit field. It doesn't fucking matter. Both teams were playing on a shit field. And remember how a lot of people say that by the end of 2013 and how, you know, after that game we were thinking, or not 2013, but 2014, whatever the year it is, I don't really care at this moment, how, you know, what is going to be the next step? Can we, of course, compete against Belgium? Can we compete against teams like Argentina and stuff like that? We can't even fucking get a win against Trinidad Tobago, a fucking Caribbean farmer team, and we couldn't even beat them. I'm fucking sick of this, and honestly, it's just an absolute joke of the way that this federation is run. And I hope after today, we need to restart this federation. This needs to be an absolute new chapter in U.S. Soccer Federation, because it's pretty clear that this squad that we have right now is clearly not good enough at all. I mean, you know, first of all, we need a new president. As I said before, now you can stay at Trinidad Tobago forever, and you should never come back to the U.S. In fact, if you come back to the U.S., we will make sure to give you a parade of shame. We will basically throw beer, we will throw cup, we will throw anything that we can found at you and yell, shame, shame, shame on you. I mean, it is just absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe how it is. And as for Bruce Arena yourself, you know, if you do not resign by the end of tonight, if you do not announce you would step down of U.S. Soccer Manager by tonight, you are gonna get a lot of death threats, okay? You are gonna get a lot of death threats from U.S. soccer fans, and by the time you come back to the airport, good luck trying to make it through to the terminal, because there is gonna be a riot that is gonna become in your name, and if you do not resign, you will be in that riot, and it's gonna get absolutely ugly. I mean, honestly, this is not even sarcasm anymore. This can actually potentially happen. Okay, maybe it won't, okay? Maybe I'm being a little bit over dramatic, but what did you expect when you just saw your national team miss the World Cup for the first time in 30 years, and probably for the first time where the U.S. actually looked like a legitimately soccer kind of nation? I mean, if we go back 30 years ago when we were just kind of like missing the World Cup, we were expected to miss the World Cup. That was when, you know, we weren't even good at soccer. Nobody even knows soccer and stuff like that. And the fact that throughout this 30 years and how I've seen the MLS growing. I mean, say what you can say about how other people say the MLS is a garbage league. This league have certainly have grown. And I also have seen more and more and more fans start to show up at US soccer game, and the atmosphere at US soccer game are just getting much and much better as it goes. But now, after we missed the World Cup, now the question it goes into our league, and also whether or not if people show up, because I just have a bad feeling that by missing this World Cup, will those fans that, of course, have been cheering on for the US, will they jump off this bandwagon ship? Because that will be the worst thing that I want to see. I do not want to see how all of a sudden, by the next couple of years, we're going to have low attendance because the country, many people just don't want to support the country anymore because they know their shit. And also, as for MLS, what does this mean with this league? Because, let's face it, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of haters right now, they're probably going just absolutely nuts on Twitter right now talking about how this league, it is trash. And as hard as I want to say this, they deserve to post this because this league, you know, this is going to be a huge step back in terms of how people view MLS. And I'm worried as hell too, because the team that I really support, the local team that I support dearly in my heart, as close as the national team, plays in the MLS. So, you know, with this happening, I just wonder, I don't know what's going to happen with this league. I'm just really hoping that this, by us not missing the World Cup, will not make this fan base to go down and just not lose too much kind of credibility that MLS is losing right now. I mean, technically, MLS is already losing its credibility too right now. I mean, I know that if you actually check with some of my past Twitter page, I have complained so much about that incident with FC Dallas and how in the world did they not get deducted points and they did not forfeit that game against Orlando City, of how they feel an ineligible player in that game. And the reason why I care so much is because FC Dallas is one of our main rival. This is a team that, you know, right now, if you look at the standing, they should not be above the red line. They should clearly be below the red line if the rule applied, but no. Instead, MLS decided to screw it up, and that is the first part of how many people are seeing MLS is a joke. And now this happened. This is probably potentially could be the dagger of how MLS is just an absolute dead league now. And I'm just really praying that of course, will not happen. But going back to this game, I mean, obviously I have to talk a little bit about this game, as much as there is only one word to kind of summarize this game, and that is shit with a capital S-H-I-T, because it was absolutely horrendous. You know, the lineup, obviously we went with the same lineup. You know, at first I was kind of a little bit happy the fact that we gone with the same lineup. I mean, you always hear the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But having said that, I just feel like after I saw how the team played, I knew something went wrong. It just felt like our midfield was so slow. We were leaving so much gap for the Trinidad and Tobago team that literally, like any amateur team, can go against the US and still can get a win, because it was just so many space. And as for a defense, I mean, it's not really just schoolboy defense anymore. It's baby level defending with the way how it is. How many space we give those players, how many times that the Trinidad and Tobago team can get behind with us through those balls is just absolutely ridiculous. And then to top it off, Omar Gonzalez scored perhaps one of the most hilarious and the most embarrassing own goal that potentially might be one of the difference between us making the playoffs, or not the playoffs, but the World Cup, and not making the World Cup. I mean, when you see that goal we can see first, all he had to do is put his foot on the ball and clear it out. But no, instead, he decided to whiff it up and it goes into the back of the net. I mean, what the actual fuck you are even doing? And as for Omar Gonzalez, I hope you will never, ever play as the US men's national team as a center back. I hope you never put on that shirt again, because that is an absolute disgusting kind of defending that I saw for you. And as bad as how I seen Omar Gonzalez has through these last couple of doing this campaign, that was probably his worst and nightmare moment. But to be fair, you know, I can't just all blame on Omar Gonzalez. The whole team looked really tired. I mean, when I was watching this game and I hear like the commentator talking about how, you know, they would talk about going back and forth with some of the score and the other things that, you know, is pretty important to us in terms of whether or not if we make it to the playoffs or not. I hear they keep saying that a lot of players on the sidelines are started to see that urgency, and a lot of the players are started to get really urgent the fact that, you know, potentially this US team was going to be in danger in the World Cup. But one thing I definitely did not see it happened was the player on the field, because let's face it, it doesn't fucking matter if the sidelines and all the players on the bench are urgent as fuck that, you know, they know that this team is in danger. As long as the players on the pitch are not showing that urgency, it doesn't really matter at all. I mean, it's really simple term, isn't it? The players that is on the pitch are the one that dictate the game, not the players on the bench, okay? Unless they of course come off the bench. And even the players that come off the bench, they didn't even show that urgency too. So it feels like that urgency was never on the field, but rather on the bench, and that is probably the reason why when I saw this team and the way they play, it just feels like this team looked like they had nothing to lose. I mean, I just felt like coming into this game also, I just felt like the US team treat this game like almost like a game that they can automatically just win, and just they don't give any respect to Trinidad and Tobago. They think this was super easy to just beat them, and it turns out not only it wasn't the way it is, but they got punished time after time after time. And I'm sick of it, of how it is. And just, you know, the second goal, I mean, obviously, fair play to Trinidad and Tobago scoring that second goal. I mean, if you go and check out that second goal, that probably is one of the best goals I have ever seen. I mean, basically, that Trinidad and Tobago player just basically shot that one from like 40 yards out, and it hit into the back of the net. I mean, there are some argument of whether if Tim Howard should have done a little bit better in terms of trying to save that ball. But, you know, when you... how many times do you see someone trying to shoot from 40 yards out? I mean, the goalkeeper are never going to expect this. But what I did found very critical in that kind of goal that we scored is that nobody, and I mean nobody, it was in the proximity of that. Nobody decided trying to close down. Nobody trying to decide to pressure. And this was the case throughout the whole game. The midfield was not pressuring anybody in any of the Trinidad and Tobago player. And, you know, when you had that happen, you know that there's going to get a lot of... it feels like they just had so much freedom to play whenever they are on the attack. It looked like a complete different kind of... it feels like both teams were in complete different kind of level with the way how it is. With the US being the one that looked like a Caribbean farmer team, and the Trinidad and Tobago team looked like a World Cup winning team. I mean, it is just an absolute disgusting way that I have to kind of like describe this, but... you know, obviously, you know, that second goal, and also, you know, despite the fact that we only concede 2 goals in this game, I feel like we clearly would have conceded more. I mean, there was a couple of times where we clearly should have conceded a goal there. I mean, I think a couple of minutes after that incident where Tim Howard, of course, spilled it, where in the world was any of the defense trying to get that ball away? It was Tim Howard himself that trying to chase that ball and get out of the area. But where are all the defense? I don't know. They're probably just ball watching, and hopefully Tim Howard can clear the ball away. I mean, if you're a defender and you saw a goalkeeper steal a ball, you need to rush to the ball and trying to clear it out. You don't let your goalkeeper to do that. That's another thing that I found just absolute criminal. And I can go on and on and on of how it is, but to be fair, I don't really want to do that because, you know, I just pretty much make my point of the way how shit we were playing in this game. But either way, going forward, I mean, honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen going forward. Obviously, the first thing is Arena and Gunter, or whatever his last name is, they need to fuck off. They need to resign. There is just no way in the world. By tomorrow, if they do not resign, right, boy, oh boy, there is gonna be a lot of heat in the Twitter kind of page on the US team, and a lot of people will be super pissed at all. And probably, as I'm speaking right now, they probably have announced their resignation and stuff like that, because I'll tell you what, they don't fucking deserve to get another day doing their job for this US Soccer Federation team. They are a shameful kind of people to our federation. They're an embarrassment to our federation, and I'm really hoping that they can announce their resignation and fuck off with any connection with the US Soccer Federation forever. Like they should, after this, I don't want to hear anybody talk about Bruce Arena or Senegal anymore, because for me, this is an absolute new chapter for US Soccer. We need to rebuild, we need to start from scratch, need to start playing out some of our youth players, need to really trying to get rid of some of the players that we know clearly are not good enough, and some of the veterans that is still in this team, that the reason why they're in this team at the first place is because of experience. Not because they're better than the young player, but it's because of experience. We need to get rid of that philosophy kind of mind, and we just need to start all over again. We need to pretend this is like 1989 again. We need to pretend that we are trying to rebuild this federation, or trying to grow this game into our country. And yeah, I mean, that is literally all I have to say about this. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I know, obviously, you know, I didn't want to make this video. I didn't really want to make a rant. I'm not a person that tends to make rant videos and stuff like that, but because of how big and how everybody is talking about this right now, I have to make a video about it. It's just so big to not make a video at all, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, click the subscribe button, and yeah, I will see you guys next time.